time to take a stand. Show your hand. We've been talking for too long. Show your hand. All around the Caribbean Sea.
Hi friends, I'm Ivan Cruikshank, Executive Director here at Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition. And I want to share with you about the work that we've been doing over the past couple of years and also share with you a vision we have of the future. Over the last 3 years, CVC has been working around 3 central pillars. One is that we've been doing work around advocacy on HIV, human rights, and sexual and reproductive health. We've been attempting to strengthen our alliances, and we've been working in the area of social mobilization and capacity building for our community partners. A central piece of the work that CVC has been doing over the past couple of years has been the rollout of the shared incident database, which many of you have been involved in. One of the things that we want to do moving forward is to help to establish a comprehensive reporting and redress system across the Caribbean so that many of you who are involved in the work with key population groups have a repository, a database, and a framework for reporting human rights violations. As we move forward, one of the areas that we recognize become more important for the work that we're doing is building the capacity of our civil society partners to do the work that they do. And that is something that CVC is committed to doing over the next couple of years. In the work that we do, there's some things that are very important for the communities that matter to us. One is that we need to understand the populations that we're working with. So doing work in the area of research, helping to build alliances between civil society and national AIDS programs, as well as interconnectivity between the various civil society organizations is central to the way that we're going to be working moving forward. I want to thank many of you who have been part and parcel of the work that we have been doing, particularly those at the national level who have been collaborating with the national AIDS programs and with CVC to ensure that there's greater alignment between what you do as civil society organizations and the work that is being done by our national HIV program partners. So over the past couple of years, our partnership with PANCAP has been instrumental to the work that we do. And we have collaborated with PANCAP in a 2-tier process. We believe that here at CVC, we provide the ground-up information, data, access to key populations that allow PANCAP to be able to make inroads at the policy level with our heads of government. And that is going to be a critical part of the work that we do moving forward. So we'll be seeking to strengthen that partnership, and we will be able to establish more engagements and opportunities through PANCAP, where you, our civil society partners and key population partners, can engage with our policymakers in various interventions and on certain policy dialogue. So that's going to be something that we focus on a lot moving forward in the coming years. As we move forward, we want to raise 4 areas that we think will be very important for us and for which we would want to engage members of the communities and to solicit your support. The first is we would want to ensure that as we seek to understand better the communities that we serve, that you play an active role in helping us to obtain the strategic information that is required to support our national AIDS program partners. We recognize also that building leadership is going to be very important to the work that we're doing. And so identification from among the key population members of potential leaders and helping us to strengthen their capacity to provide this leadership that is required in the future is an important piece of the work that we want to do. Many of you have been involved in some way, shape, or form in prevention work. And we recognize over the past couple of years that there has been what we want to consider to be a lull in prevention. Recognizing that we are still not at the end of the HIV fight, we want to ensure that we are scaling up our prevention interventions. And through the work that we will be doing with you, we would want to ensure that we are able to achieve those 2030 targets, which is 0 new infection or 90% of persons know their HIV status. 90% of people who know their status are on antiretroviral, and 90% of those who are on antiretroviral reach viral suppression. One thing that is going to be important as we do all of those things is to ensure that there's zero discrimination in the mix. And that is where I think our partnership between CVC and organizations like yourself and key population groups like you become very, very important. How are we going to do this? As you know, and some of you have been involved in our work, CVC's work has been through the promotion of and advocacy for an improved understanding of human rights of the key population groups in the region. We see this particular process as a critical part of the development process. So for us, HIV is not just about the health issue, but it's a broader development issue, which we want to put on the development agenda. So in that regard, CVC is committed to working with you, our partners, in holding governments to account and accountable for the many commitments that they have made. I alluded earlier to the 2030 goals of achieving 90-90-90 and zero discrimination. And that is something that we are quite committed to. And we, through the shared incident database and the improved case management framework, we will be seeking to use those as means through which we get information and offer redress to citizens in holding governments across the region accountable. Complementary to this piece, to our advocacy work, will be the need for scaled up of our research interventions. We want to understand better the communities, we want to understand better the needs of the communities, and we also want to do research around how the various interventions will have the type of impact that would lead to 90% of people remaining virally suppressed. That is very, very important to us. And while HIV is not the only thing that we're focusing on, because we recognize that HIV is a part of who people are and not necessarily an isolated issue, we will be looking at what other opportunities exist for us to ensure that people's lives, their whole lives, and the issues affecting them in their totality are addressed. So we will be looking at things like social enterprises that can create livelihoods, that can promote and support people being able to go back to school and engage in some of the endeavors that would make their lives meaningful as we move forward. It's important for us at CVC that we build out partnerships in order to do this, because none of what we are seeking to do, we can do on our own. It's therefore important that we have agencies, whether it is the governments through the national AIDS programs or through our international development partners who provide support to many of us in the civil society world. We engage them in a way that support the objectives that we're trying to reach. So CVC will work towards an improved repository of information that can support the advocacy work that we're seeking to do, as well as provide information to you, our partners, to help you better understand how you might respond to the issues that face the key populations that we serve. Other areas of work that we think are very important to us is creating a better understanding around vulnerability and its effects on health and development, working to create regional and national responses to health and development that are based on human rights. Human rights is the cornerstone of everything that we do. And importantly, we want to ensure that civil society organizations are seen as critical partners and critical players in national HIV responses. To that end, one of the things that we'll be doing is we'll be working with our international partners and our civil society partners to identify and explore ways of ensuring that you, our civil society partners, are at the table in the policy dialogue, in the policy conversations, and we'll be working to build your capacity to do effective policy monitoring, especially around some areas that are often forgotten, such as budget management, budget analysis, and understanding issues around how resources are utilized and the type of impact that our interventions can have. So as we move forward, I want to enlist your support, and I want to give you the commitment from CVC that we will be unflinching in our call for a better human rights environment for all the key populations in this region. To this end, one of the things I want you to do, as many of you would know, we have recently launched our Do You Dare campaign. We are going to be ratcheting up our Do You Dare campaign, and we want you to become partners in this dare. We want to dare you to join us and be part of this significant shift in the landscape in the Caribbean. So those are some of the ideas and some of the interventions that we have in store for you for the upcoming years. I want to thank you for joining CVC on this journey, and we look forward to your continued support. Keep up with us, no man, on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and of course, you can reach us through the link on our website, cvccoalition.org. Thank you very much.
Until you to make an impact.